What's up, CrossFit Lincoln? Coach Paul here. I'm going to talk to you today about squatting. I have 3 ideas for ways to help your knees be less sore when you're squatting, all right? Now, you may have come from not squatting very much. Maybe you weren't doing CrossFit, you're doing other stuff, or maybe nothing, who knows? Then you try CrossFit out, you're doing a lot more squatting. A couple weeks later, a couple months later, your knees are getting sore. You're like, okay, what's going on here? Well, your knees are probably getting used more, and the muscles around your knees, your legs, your hips, all this is getting stronger. Through that process, sometimes some tightness develops. Who knows what's going on? I have 3 tips that should help you overcome generally what might be happening. A disclaimer though is, if you have a knee injury from the past, or if you had a knee surgery, this may not completely cure what you have going on, but it might help you move in the right direction. So give it a try anyway. The first thing is to slow down your repetitions. All 3 of these things I'm going to go through, the point of them is to help your form improve, and then also to help strengthen the muscles in the right ratios around your knees, your hips, and your trunk, so that you can squat better for a long time. Okay, so first one, slow down your repetition. And primarily there, it's going to be on the way down. As you are squatting down is where you're going to get the biggest benefit from slowing down. It lets you feel the positioning. Another thing is that when you are getting to the very bottom of the squat, imagine you're going really fast through a repetition, right? You are squatting down really fast, and you get to the bottom, you kind of bounce it out of the bottom, and you go back up. Yes, you are going through full range of motion, and you are doing work. Your muscles are working, of course, but a portion of that work is being done by the connective tissue in your knee when you get to the very bottom of your squat. Your tendons and ligaments are being stretched and then released, and that's not going to be great for the knees in the long run. We do want to go through full range of motion, but you don't have to go really fast through the bottom range of motion, and you don't have to bounce on your knees, so to speak. So anyway, my suggestion here would be to slow down a little bit, at least on the descent of the squat. Now, sometimes if you are doing a conditioning style workout with squats in it, let's say wall ball shots, you are not usually motivated or rewarded by slowing your squat down, because you're trying to get work done as quickly as possible. I understand that. But for the sake of your knees, you may still benefit from taking a half step back, slowing down a little bit, feeling out what muscles are working, how they're working, the positioning that you're putting your body into, and that might be something that pays dividends to the future, lets you speed up over time, lets you have higher performance over time with less knee pain. So try that out a little bit slower. Second thing is to breathe through the nose. And this sounds silly, it sounds separate from squatting, but I promise you it is connected. Your whole body is connected, it all works together. When you breathe through the nose, it is more difficult, especially if you are under duress, you're already out of breath, you're working hard, and then you say, okay, I'm gonna close my mouth, I'm only gonna breathe through my nose. That's gonna be difficult, it's gonna feel challenging, and that is why you want to do it. When you breathe through your nose, it's a smaller opening than your mouth, okay? So the air has to be pulled more strenuously by your diaphragm. That's really what we're trying to get at. We're trying to strengthen the diaphragm, which will help to strengthen and align the core, which helps to stabilize the core, and that is what provides the foundation for your hips to work from. So your hips sit right below your core, your trunk. When your hips are stabilized and held in a sturdy position by your trunk and your core muscles, including your diaphragm, then your knees and your legs, and as an extension, are going to work better. They're going to be more lined up how they should be. More of the muscle in your hip is going to be able to turn on and do the job it's supposed to do. So your challenge is to consider breathing through the nose. Breathe in through the nose, breathe out through the nose. You may slow down a little bit at first. In the long run, you're going to speed up. You're going to be stronger. Your knees are going to feel better. And I know it sounds a little bit separate. Breathe through the nose, tell my knees feel better. Try it, it'll work. The third thing is to train the posterior chain. Squatting is a great exercise for just about your whole body. It's mostly lower body focused, of course, but your whole body is working to some extent. And even through the lower body, all the muscles of the lower body and the legs are working, but not all muscles are working to the same extent. So your quads, for example, on the front of your body are going to be working a little bit harder than your hamstrings on the back of your body. So that's where it brings into training the posterior chain. Posterior chain is the muscles that go along the back of your body. So from the floor, it would be something like your calves, your hamstrings, your glutes, your low back, your upper back, your traps. It's a chain of muscles that all connect, they all work together, and they're on the back of your body, hence the posterior chain. So the application for you on training the posterior chain is come to class 5 days a week if you can. Come to CrossFit class 5 days a week, because we train the whole body throughout the week. Yes, we squat more than once a week, but we also deadlift. We do a whole bunch of other things like a deadlift, kettlebell swing, so on and so forth. There's a whole bunch of movements that'll do this, cleans, snatches, are going to train the back side of the body a little bit more so than the front side of the body. And that is going to be beneficial for holding your knee and your hip and your ankle even in a better position, and that should improve your form and the strength around your knee. So to recap those, the first thing would be to slow down your repetitions. You should improve your form and strengthen your body in different positions. Second thing would be to breathe through the nose. It's going to strengthen your trunk and your core. That is going to carry over to better positioning through the knees and better strength through the hips. And the third thing is to train the posterior chain, the muscles in the back of the body. Don't only squat, okay? You need to throw in some deadlifts. You need to throw in some other activities as well. This week, if your knees are sore, I want you to try one or two things. The first thing would be to go for some walks. 1 or 2 10-minute walks a day. You can go farther if you want to, of course. But start with something that's manageable that you can do on a regular basis. It's going to have a bigger payoff, a better benefit for yourself. So if you're going to go for these walks, to get the most out of them, you need to do a couple things. You need to walk fairly briskly. You need to breathe through the nose to stimulate the core and the trunk. And I would let your arms swing. So walk briskly, breathe through the nose, in and out, and let your arms swing. Make this an athletic walk. You could take your lunch break, eat your food, and then instead of playing on your phone for a little while, walk 5 minutes out, turn around, walk 5 minutes back. You're going to feel better. Your digestion is going to be better, and your knees are probably going to feel better also. And then the second thing to do this week to try out would be slow down your squat repetitions. A little bit slower on the way down, and then a little bit faster on the way up relative to each other. So that's what I got. Give it a shot. Let me know if you have tried some other things with squatting that have helped your knees feel better, and that's that.